is up, everybody? It is Monday, November the 23rd, 2015. This is Radio Tokyo, and I am, of course, your host, Jonathan. Over the weekend, there was some things that happened, and yeah, things. Initially, I was just going to do this show entirely about Saturday's episode of Doctor Who, which I admit I did not watch all the way through. There were some things I had to do about midway in the episode, but I came back and I saw the end of it, and I was able to figure out what happened. And then I read online, what happened, and I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay. But, okay, I'll put it this way. There's about to be some serious spoilers. If you have not seen the episode, you probably want to not listen to this, you know, just mute it until you stop seeing images. I don't know, really. But yeah, spoiler alert, uh, Clara Oswald is dead. She's gone. She's not coming back. The character's been killed off. Completely killed off this time. It's not, some, uh, happy fun time thing, where she's dead and she'll come back. No. She's dead. Dead, dead. Okay? Uh, yeah. But yeah, okay. Anyway, um, it's strange to think about, because if you've been following Doctor Who for a while, you know that Clara has been on there since she was first introduced in the Asylum of the Daleks episode. And the Asylum of the Daleks, of course, is where she was called Souffle Girl, and it was revealed over time by the 11th Doctor that uh, Clara is, she shouldn't be there. She should not be there. Um, Something strange about her, and of course, she pops up later, uh, in the Victorian era, and she's known as Oswin. Well, Oswin comes back later. Uh, Clara comes back later, and of course, 11 has this whole series of events where he runs around speaking to her, and she's involved in everything. She becomes his companion. Blah 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 blah. Okay, we all know that's what happens. The problem is that, at least with me, uh, I didn't really like Clara. I really did. I'm sorry. To those of you who are fans of Clara Oswald, I didn't really like her. I did very greatly appreciate uh, the Day of the Doctor and the Time of the Doctor episodes. It was Matt Smith's last few episodes as the Doctor, where during the Christmas special, she talks to the crack in the wall. Which, if you follow Levin's arc, you saw the crack show up early on, and it's there throughout his entire tenure as the Doctor. Uh, and this is the last time it makes an appearance. And of course, this was when 11 regenerated into 12. That is skipping, of course, the War Doctor. But she spoke to the crack because it was Gallifrey reaching out to the Doctor, trying to send a message to him throughout all time and everything. So she speaks to the rest of the Time Lords. They help him regenerate, and it's fantastic. It was a beautiful moment, and it was one of the few points in times where I really, genuinely, and truly appreciated Clara Oswald. That's not to say that she didn't have her moments. It's just more to say that I didn't really like her the rest of the time. I'm sorry, I just didn't. Uh, but of course, um, now, by the way, if you're watching the images that we've got up, I have just really, really, really messed up here. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, getting on to the episode, and by that I mean this past Saturday's episode. Um, yeah, Clara dies. Phew, it's kind of a difficult thing to talk about, because whenever a companion leaves the show or they're killed off, it's always a moment where it's going to affect the Doctor. It's going to. unquestionably going to bother him. But uh, I cannot remember her character's name. I'm sorry, but the young lady who is apparently immortal that has been on the show past several episodes now. Um, she had a street that she owned. She was able to imprison several different species that have shown up in Doctor Who before. Uh, someone, this uh, the artist who was in the episode a while back where different people in the town were being turned into images on the wall. I don't know if any of you remember that, but he was there. Apparently, he had killed someone, and Clara makes a deal with him to take his punishment. And what that was a tattoo on his neck that would count down. The Doctor didn't know she did that, and so through a long, complicated series of events. Like, now, again, this is me having read it. I haven't seen it all the way through just yet, but she makes a deal, and of course, time runs out, and there's a raven that flies around, and the raven is actually what does the executions. So Clara, at this point in time, has told the Doctor, "I'm going to die. There's nothing you can do about it. Sorry. Get on with your life." And of course, it pisses him off, and he makes the threat that uh, if he's ever angry at you, the universe is a very small place. But of course, the Raven flies into Clara, and she's dead. She's gone forever. She's not coming back. Uh, Going back to when Danny Pink was on the show, I didn't like Danny Pink either. I really just didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't like his storyline. I haven't really liked most of the storylines Clara's been in. She's been kind of she's been really hit or miss for me. But that is not to say that is not me saying that I dislike Jenna Coleman. It's not saying I dislike the character. I just really would like to have seen her been able to appeal more to me. Um, Capaldi's Doctor is kind of the same way. I like him most of the time, but then there are times when I don't like him. One of the times that I don't like him is when he's using the sonic sunglasses. I don't like uh, so much, the sitting around playing the guitar type thing, just small things like that are his version of the Doctor, and that's fine, but it doesn't work with me, and that's my perspective. And Clara was the same way. She was hit or miss. I really liked her with Matt Smith's Doctor. I really did. Uh, Granted, she wasn't always, in most of my favorite stories, but the points and times with Smith, with the 11th Doctor, where she was on, the stories that Clara's been involved in that really hit home with me, it was all the 11th Doctor. It was all him. I'm not saying that, the 12th Doctor has not been able to work for me, but whatever. I mean, she's gone now. We're gonna have to move past this, Doctor Who fans. But there actually was in the show a tribute done to her. Uh, the TARDIS itself was painted by excuse me again, I've forgotten his name. Uh, the young man who she switched with. She uh, he painted the TARDIS, and it was very nice of the TARDIS, to let him do that. But it was a beautiful moment, and it was a nice, fitting tribute, to Clara at the end. Now that she's gone, but she's gone. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Actually, I do know. We're gonna move on to something else. Um, Last night, of course, was The Walking Dead. Now, this is gonna be spoilers again if you haven't seen it. Uh, but we did an episode a while back, or I did at least, talking about Glenn and what his possible fate would be, and I predicted that Glenn would be dead. Okay, I may not be wrong, actually, believe it or not. Uh, Despite what happened last night, uh, it's possible that Glenn will still not be around. But of course, the last time we saw Glenn, he was laying underneath someone's body after being the person was being eaten by the walkers, and that was it for 2 or 3 episodes. Glenn was thought to be dead. Everyone had moved on. Characters had even moved on within the premise of the show. They were not giving up hope, but they had accepted the fact that Glenn was probably not going to be around because it would have been kind of hard for him to come back. Um, One of the theories is that Glenn was probably still alive, and that somehow the tiny Asian man had managed to scramble underneath the. Oh, I I can't even finish this line of thought. Glenn was able to actually do what everyone thought he would going to what was going to do. Because he landed so close to the dumpster, they thought, well, maybe he can just squirm his way under there. That's actually what he did. That is exactly what Glenn did. He laid there uh, while the other man was eating, and of course, by then he's covered over in uh, Walker blood and this guy's blood, so he kind of smells, like he's, I guess, already dead. I don't know, but he was able to kind of squirm his way underneath uh, the dumpster, and over a period of time, the walkers kind of wandered off, and he pulls himself out, and then, uh, yeah, he goes off, and he's Glenn again. Yay! Yay! Who cares? Really, it was kind of a letdown, and to me, it was really. No, don't misunderstand me. I like Glenn. I like his character. I think he's had some very good storylines, and he's definitely grown as a character. He's been around on the show for a very long time. He's incredibly popular among fans, but I just I have difficulty accepting, that he's still alive. I really do. I get why I get why it was done, because he was very popular, and the people who do the show are not stupid. They know that if they kill off a main character like Glenn, people are going to be upset. So they said, Glenn will of course will show back up in the future. We're going to know, what happened to him. Of course, this is all prepared. It was done intentionally. But just the fact to me that Glenn was literally able to do, the thing that's going to save me type thing, just it felt forced, and it felt like a cheat code to me. But that's not always a bad thing. It's really not a bad thing when you think about it. Beth had a cheat code too. Sophia, really early on in the series, had a cheat code too. Any character who disappears for an extended period of time, they always die. They always die. This is not a questionable thing here. Carol disappeared for a little while. She's not dead yet, but everyone Carol has known, for the most part, has wound up dead. Okay, like I said, Beth goes away. Sophia, Carol's daughter, goes away, comes back. Both of them are dead. Um, of course, Beth was shot in the head last season. Sophia became a walker. Uh, Merle, Daryl's brother, disappears for an extended period of time. We don't see him past the first couple episodes when he was handcuffed to the roof, but when he shows back up, he has, one hand. Well, of course, Daryl has to kill his own brother because Merle became a walker. Every character who has ever disappeared on Walking Dead for any period of time, again, has died. They come back with limited time. Very, very limited time. I'm not saying that I think that's what's going to happen to Glenn. I'm pretty sure that if you follow the comics, you know what's going to happen. It's a pattern that is repeated. I think, Glenn being able to escape being eaten by the millions and millions of walkers that were around him, well, probably not millions, but you get the idea. Um, it was an impossible situation. There was no way he could have gotten away from it, realistically. But the fact that he did kind of starts a timer for me. And the reason it starts a timer is in the comic books, as we discussed in the show before, Glenn is beaten to death. He is killed by a man named Regan, who shows up, and Regan essentially starts kicking everybody's ass. He's the new bad guy. And the reason I am 100% convinced that Glenn's time is about to come. I mean, it's coming at some point in time. Regan is going to be on the show. He's going to show up towards the end of this season. Of course, next Sunday is the mid-season finale, so we're going to come back next year. Uh, you know, January, February, somewhere around there, and we're going to finish out the season. And before that's over, Regan's going to show up, and it's already been announced that the wonderfully handsome and talented Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be playing that role. And again, this is important to understand. In the comics, Glenn is dead. Regan beats him to death with the baseball bat. Okay? The baseball bat's already showing up around Glenn. It may not be the one that gets used, but there's already been all the signs there already. And Walking Dead is no exception to putting hints into their shows what's going to happen. Okay? Baseball bat's already showing up. Glenn's already disappeared. He's already come back. I am willing to say that Glenn's going to be beaten to death next season. Maybe even the end of this season. Maybe this season will end with Glenn getting hit in the head by Regan, and the next season you come back and Glenn's dead. Who knows? But I, I really do feel that Glenn is time is limited. I really do, because like I said, Beth goes away, and when you find her again, oh, she's happy, she's safe and everything, and then boom, shot in the back of the head. Sophia, they looked for her. It was the whole reason they were able to find Herschel. Uh, stayed in his farm for a while. Still looked for her. All this bad shit goes down. I mean, all the worst possible things imaginable happen, and then there she is. She is in Herschel's barn. She's been there the entire time, and she's dead. Every character that's wandered off for an extended period of time that has come back has died. As long as you don't know their whereabouts for a while, they're dead. Okay? Now, Glenn's fate was left uncertain, but he's come back. It's fine. Whatever. It's whatever happens, happens. And I'm gonna keep watching the show, of course. But really, things are going to change on The Walking Dead. I'm sure. Things are going to change uh, on Doctor Who for sure. Uh, Change is good. It's fine. We're going to find out more. But yeah, that's really going to be it for today. I think I probably rambled a little bit and probably spoiled some shows for all of you. And I'm sorry if I did. But that's, like I said, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching if you watched. Please remember to like this video, comment on it, share it, subscribe it, like us on Facebook, and we will talk to all of you Wednesday. Bye, everybody.